Alright, I'm going to got a problem with my breakers. My main breaker there. You can see the one on the left is my main. It's burning on the top post. It's turning cherry red. And it's like it's not... that's the second one I put in it. The other one did the same thing. You can see the melted plastic. But what I think is the problem is that post, that bus bar is messed up and it's not getting connection on that top. It's not getting connected. The breaker box isn't getting connection to the bus bar. And so it's heating up and burning it up. So I'm going to replace the box, this whole box. And I've tried replacing just certain breakers that I thought was bad, but I'm going to go ahead and replace the whole breaker box with the same, so it's a 100 amp box. I'm going to put the same thing in it. So I'm just going to take a video and kind of show you guys how I do it. And I'm not an electrician at all, so don't do as I do. But let's see if I can fix this problem before I have a fire. Well, I've already had a little fire, it looks like. But anyhow, that's the way that goes. I got all my wires unhooked, and I got the breakers out. I'm fixing to take the box out. I'm gonna try, and then I'll try to get the new box going back in. So there we are for now. All right, guys, I got the new box in. I haven't wired anything up yet, but I got the wires through the bottom of the box. The main wires coming in. This I don't know, that piece right there was that piece is I couldn't get off. They glued it. I imagine that's supposed to screw out of there so I could get it out of the box, but they ended up gluing it. So, and I didn't quite know what to do with it, so I'm gonna try to figure something out with that. But maybe if somebody's got some suggestions, they can. I suppose I could cut it off, drop the box. That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably just cut it off at the bottom of this thing here where they glued it. I don't know. I suppose it's probably supposed to be glued, but I was thinking that this piece right here would screw off to release it from the box, and then I could pull the box, but it's glued. So I tried, you can see where I scarred it all up with a pair of channel locks trying to get it off, but I had to end up popping the bottom out of the old box, and then I popped the bottom out of the new box as well. So I'm gonna have to find some kind of cover or something for that to deal with that. But anyway, one thing I didn't like, which is no big deal, but the new box didn't come with the ground bars, so I had to remove the ground bars from the old box and put it on. No big deal. Another thing, if you order a new main, this is a 100 amp main, 100 amp service. I probably should have went with 200, but I really don't have the time or the money right now to mess with it. But, and again, all this stuff I'm doing as cheap as I can for now. Well, you all know how it is. But anyway, the main box came with a 100 amp main breaker, which I didn't know. So, and I bought a main because my other main, this main here was the one that was in it, the new one that I put in it, and it did the same as the old one. Look at that. That's why I'm replacing the box, because the bus bar was bad when I put this one in, and it just fried it too. But I bought a new main breaker to replace this one, not realizing that one came in the 100 amp box. So if you buy a box, make sure you probably want to check, see if it comes with the main breaker. That'll save you 50-60 bucks depending on where you get it. But I don't have nothing to mount the box to on the back, so I'm gonna have to go through the sides on the studs, which is no big deal. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mount the box and connect all the neutral and ground wires, and then I'll start hooking up the breakers. I marked every one of my hot wires, but I've wiped most of the Sharpie off. I can't really see it on them, So I'm gonna have to, I took pictures, but I was told what was it? Let's see. The smaller gauge wires is 12. Let me. Is it 14 gauge? Goes to 15 amp. 12 gauge to a 20 amp, and the bigger wires to a 30 amp. So I'm gonna experiment and try to figure out how to get everything hooked up the way it was. But next time, I learned the next time to mark them better, mark the cables. I didn't leave the tails on the tape because I figured I'd rip them off going through the box. So, but anyway, that's that. All right. There's my panel. Everything's in there. I did have to move some breakers around because my wires weren't long enough, and so because it was a little bit different, I didn't realize that I needed to probably reposition my neutral bars. There's a neutral bar that runs here, and then there's a neutral bar that runs here, and they're up top. I needed to move them down so my neutral wires would reach them. Instead, I had to move my wires up. So remember that if you go to put your box in, make sure your neutral bars are where they need to be. Your wires are long enough anyway. I got it all marked and all my breakers in. So far, so good. No heat at all. And I've got everything on. I'm maxing out my 100 amp service with 1, 2, 3, 4 220 volt breakers, which is water heater, dryer, central air unit, and our electric stove. I'm really seriously thinking about getting a gas stove and getting rid of one of those, probably just getting rid of one of those, and like the stove or something. That would take a little load off. I don't know how many amps it's pulling. I don't know how many amps any of them are pulling. I haven't tested that. That's probably going to be something I'll do here in the future to find out if I am pulling too many amps for this 100 amp service. I was going to go with a 200 amp box, but I don't know. I just wanted to get it done real quick, and so we could have power and get on with other things. There it is. It's done. Everything's on. It's working. And luckily, I did have a shut off out at my meter, so that helped me. I didn't have to have the electric company come out and shut my power off. But I do have a couple breakers that I am going to put in. I have a couple ideas I want to do, but that's the box. And this is the old box. And you can see, let me get in some light here. There's the bus bar on this one. And I would say that is the reason why I was having my problems. Obviously, it's burnt. And what was happening was that's where the main set right here on this top, and I wasn't getting enough connection up here on the top, and every time I'd turn a 220 item on, the water heater would kick on, or the dryer or the stove, I'd arc off on this one and it'd start burning, turn cherry red, smoke. You can see where it shot flames up through here. Did that there and kind of burnt the box just a little bit. But be careful. I'm not an electrician at all, so don't take none of this as gospel. Be careful if you mess with these boxes. You got to shut everything off. But Westinghouse box, they did a recall, or not a recall, but they actually went out of business and was replaced with Eaton. So if you have a Westinghouse box like this, I would suggest replacing it with an Eaton box or something similar. And there's the neutral bars that I needed to. This box here is shorter than the new one, so these neutral bars on the new one I needed to move down. But there it is. Thanks for watching.